Welcome back to another episode of It's in the Details. As always, please remember to share, like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, and all of the places. Help grow the show. First, I want to give a massive shout out to my PVR. You are the real MVP. You are always providing me with shows I did not know were coming because I've hit record series 5 years ago, and you just keep popping in with new episodes of things I want to watch. That happened yesterday when you hit me with a surprise American Ninja Warrior Women's Championship. I don't know how many people are watching American Ninja Warrior, but it is fantastic. I love, as you'll hear in this episode, I love some competition reality shows. American Ninja Warrior is that. Heartwarming, heartbreaking, just wonderful feats of athleticism. And it's cool to see the men do it. Look at all these hardworking dudes doing stuff most of us can't do, myself included. But when you get to watch the women do it, it's another level. You know these women are stronger than 80% of the men on earth, right? Period. You know that already. But when they haven't yet accomplished the things that are being asked of them on these obstacle courses, it's like the amount you cheer for these people you don't know on an obstacle course, because they've built out a nice little storyline for you. You've seen other women accomplish things. You've seen those women accomplish things, but not that peak yet. And PVR, I didn't know it was coming. And you made my Monday night a wonderful Monday night. Thank you, PVR. You the real MVP. I also there was a F1 race this past weekend in Spain, which was something. If you have not yet got up on F1 after hearing me for so many weeks say get on F1, you missed a race. Chess in spaceship cars, man. That's what you missed. Mercedes just strategically outmaneuvered Red Bull so efficiently. It was fantastic. I sound like an F1 car. It was fantastic. Lewis Hamilton was 22 seconds behind the leader, and with like 25 laps left, and he caught him and passed him with 5 or 6 laps left to go. And Red Bull they had to step aside. They had to go chase down some other points. It was incredible. Drive to Survive is going to have that in season 4 on Netflix. Whenever that comes out, you'll have to watch it then because you missed it this past weekend, but it was incredible. And then there's a thing, for the people who don't know, there's a thing that the teams do. Each team has 2 drivers, and if one driver is driving way faster than the other, the team will ask the guy who's in front to move out of the way for his teammate so his teammate can pass him and move on with his business. And a lot of guys don't like that, but a lot of guys also understand if your car's just not fast enough, you're not fast enough, get out of the way, let your man go. Well, Lewis Hamilton's teammate, Valtteri Bottas, has said he's going to start racing for himself more often. And earlier in this past week, someone asked the head of Mercedes, Toto Wolff, if he would consider replacing Valtteri Bottas in the middle of the season because he hasn't been performing like you'd expect him to. And he said, there's no way I'd ever consider replacing Valtteri Bottas. Well, if you've been paying attention to what I've just been saying, Lewis was racing up down the track And he got to Valtteri. And Mercedes said, "Hey, Valtteri, can you move out the way for the boy? Because he's coming and he's coming in hot and you're in the way." And Valtteri did not respond. And not only did he not respond, he didn't move. He didn't move. He made Lewis pass him, thus putting both of them in jeopardy of being knocked out of the race and Lewis possibly not having the opportunity to win. And all I got to say is, if you tell a man his job is safe and he cannot lose it, why would he start listening to you when you give him instructions he does not want to listen to? Was this a surprise to anybody? It wasn't a surprise to me. I heard the instructions and I said, "Ooh, I need some popcorn and snacks because this is about to be real good." And Valtteri did not disappoint. Didn't disappoint. I would love to have been in a Mercedes conference room when the boss man sat down Valtteri and said, "Valtteri, did you not hear the instructions?" And Valtteri is like, "Of course I heard the instructions. I'm racing, man. Everybody's making fun of me because I can't finish higher than third. And you guys are trying to get me to move out of the way so another man can win this race. I'm out here racing. You could stick those instructions straight up your exhaust pipes." It's just incredible. He should have moved, though. He should have moved. Ooh, and talk about kicking a man when he's down. Now you got Lewis Hamilton, probably under the orders of Toto Wolff, out here complaining about some parts on Red Bull's cars that are probably illegal or barely illegal, that helps Red Bull's cars go faster. They put in some complaints with the FIA, the governing body of F1, and now they're looking into Red Bull's cars and parts again. And hey man, Lewis, you just embarrassed these dudes. You just embarrassed them in Spain. And he's like, "I know. On my way out, just before I get on that flight, I'm going to tell everybody about these parts that are cheating. And they're not going to be that close to me anymore. So I'm going to win more races. Valtteri is going to have to move out of the way next time." How are you not watching this if you aren't already watching this? It's amazing. Anyway, more wonderful drama like that coming up May 23rd. F1 takes the circus to Monaco, the streets of Monaco, for one of the legendary races and racetracks in all of motorsports. If you know anything about Monaco, you know that it's beautiful. And if you know anything about this race or don't know anything about this race, it happens on the streets of Monaco on the water, essentially. Tightest tracks I've ever seen. I knew about this race before I got back into F1, but it is phenomenal. May 23rd, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Today's talk is with one of my really good friends, Amy. I've known her for quite some time. I mean, almost as long as some of my oldest friends, really. We don't get to see each other as much, but when we do, it's always easy. It usually turns into a giggle fest pretty fast. You'll notice that from the first 5 minutes or so of this episode. We talk about her love of crime shows and true crime. We delve into some of her passions as far as reality TV goes, which she equal parts recommends and does not recommend you watch. And we really get into her passion for documentaries. And if you hang around to the end, you'll get some documentary recommendations from her that I think are going to be really good. I haven't seen any of them, and I plan on watching all of them. Really good recommendations, really good kind of synopsis given by her on what they are. So this one was a lot of fun to do. I was very tired when I was done from all the laughing. and it was a good ride. I hope you enjoy it. I expect you to enjoy it. Up next, my homegirl, Amy. Amy, Miss Amy.
Hi.
I'm excited to talk to you.
Same.
You're so much fun.
You too.
Thank you. Let's start here. Throughout the pandemic, have you done anything to enhance your viewing experience? TV, music, not music, sound, lighting?
Yeah, we did. It wasn't so much to enhance our viewing experience more than like we had positioned our TV when we moved into the house in a horrible way. And
Okay.
our old asses we're straining our necks trying to watch. We have a really high fireplace, and that's where we situated the TV, and it just wasn't working. We were in so much pain. So we brought the TV down, but because of like the whole arrangement of my living room, bringing the TV down and mounting it to a wall meant we also had to get like new couches. Like we needed an actual sectional instead of like a 3-piece.
Right.
So, yeah.
So because I see this all the time with the TV above the fireplace or like above a mantle, whatever it is. Whose decision was that?
I don't think it was anyone's.
Someone decided.
It wasn't anyone's decision. It was like there was a plug on top of the fireplace, so it's like that's obviously where the TV should go. What else would you plug in on top of a fireplace? But it was a bad decision. And it's a really big TV too, right? Well, not really big, but it fit. Like you walked into the home and it was like, this is where the TV should be. That was the first thing I think that we decided was that's where the TV should be.
So wait, how many years have you been in that house again?
4 years.
4 years.
More, so, I think maybe more than 4 years. Yeah.
So over 4 years, and then a global pandemic hit, and you guys were like, our necks kind of, I guess you're watching more TV, right?
Maybe, yeah. It was just, we were home more. So we were always like, okay, we need to bring the TV down. Yeah. Like and we've been saying it. We said it for so many years. Yes. And then we're finally now home so much more that we brought the TV down.
Amazing. Because I always see it and I'm like, there's no way I'd want to sit on my couch looking up at my TV 7 feet high in the sky.
Yes, correct.
So,
don't do it.
So you moved the TV.
Yes.
Got some new furniture.
Yeah.
Blankets, pillows. What makes you real cozy and comfortable? Or do you not need to be?
We have 8 pillows and 3 blankets.
On the couch?
Yes.
How big is this new couch?
Small. It's completely unnecessary.
All the pillows
but
and blankets?
Also very necessary.
So is it a 4-4 divide on the pillows? Or are you like 6 and he's 2?
I think Brian uses more of the pillows.
Really?
Okay, because he needs a pillow for like his neck and his back. This must be all the years of straining our necks trying to watch TV. He needs like a pillow on his neck, a pillow on his back. He's got one on his arm. Sometimes he like sits on one.
Brian's not 60, right?
No, and neither am I. We just love pillows and blankets.
And then 2 blankets. Are all the pillows and blankets new too?
No, not all of them.
Okay. Okay. So what is the snack situation like?
There's a lot of snacking.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the pandemic, we would go through bags and bags of potato chips, and we were so disgusted with ourselves that we decided we need to change and do like so then we got Bits and Bites. which I think is not too different, but it is because it's baked. They're kind of like crackers, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
With the
But
pretzels and
then,
the
yeah, exactly.
yeah, okay.
You know it.
Yeah, not my
It's
favorite, but
delicious.
yeah.
It's a good alternative.
Yes, okay. Yes.
Yeah. The
Compared to
only
fried potato
thing,
chips,
yes, the only thing is like we can go through bags of that too.
yeah.
So we're still like that's still our snack of choice right now. The bits and bites, and we have to have ice cream.
Is that an every night thing?
Um, I would say it's regular. It's daily, every other day,
Okay.
sometimes every day.
Yeah. Okay. So we got lots to dig in here. Bits and bites, what flavor?
Okay, the original. And then when Brian was in charge of doing groceries one day, he got the cheddar,
Hmm.
and I hate it.
Okay.
Like as soon as I took a bite of one of the bits,
Which bit?
I knew that it was something was off.
Which
Okay,
bit?
my favorite is the strangely enough, my favorite is the cheese one. But
I love you so much.
if it's all cheddar, it's awful.
I love you so much.
But my favorite one is the cheese one. We're not gonna get through this.
So the cheese ones with the
It's
cheddar on
actually-
it was too much cheese.
Yes,
I
you
got
get
you.
it.
I get
Yeah.
you. Oh man. Okay, so uh, your favorite bit is the cheese things.
Mhm.
And it used to be original. He got cheddar one time. You almost got divorced, and and you went back to original.
Yes.
Okay. Um, what were the chips before the move to bits and bites?
I like a sour cream of anything, like bacon,
Oh,
onion. We'll throw in like ketchup sometimes.
sour cream and ketchup.
No, sour cream and a ketchup.
Oh, okay.
Although if there was a
I was
sour
wondering.
cream
Yes,
and ketchup,
exactly.
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. I want to try that now.
I would too.
So, are those sour cream and bacon must be Ruffles,
Yes.
right? Do you have a favorite sour cream and onion?
Ruffles.
Ruffles as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing we do a laze on would be ketchup or like dill pickle.
Dill pickle? You're buying dill pickle chips?
You don't eat dill pickle chips? It's so good.
They're gross.
But I love pickles.
So do I.
Okay, then you know what? You should be loving dill pickle chips.
What about like dill pickle people feel like salt and vinegar people,
Oh God, I hate salt and vinegar.
but they're both so
No,
sour
it's
and
completely different.
what about
Not the same.
Old Dutch? Do you venture out into any other brands, or you're like Lay's and Ruffles till I die?
Yes.
That's it. And now bits and bites.
Mhm.
What's going on the ice cream front? Brands,
Okay.
flavors.
Our favorite right now is Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
It's the one with Jimmy Fallon on it.
Oh yeah. The late show.
The Late Dough or something like
Something
that.
like that,
The Tonight Late Dough or something. It's not it.
I'm
It's
sure
not
you're
it.
close.
We're gonna find
Feels
it.
close. It feels close. What's in
Oh,
that?
the Tonight Dough. I think it's. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, sure. What's in it? It's like
Oh
vanilla.
man, it's vanilla, chocolate swirl, cookies and cream, peanut butter cookies and cream.
Mhm. Dude, that's a lot of stuff.
It's so much stuff. It sounds disgusting, but it's
a lot of
not.
stuff.
I shouldn't have described it
it's so much stuff.
because it's so good.
Have you ever tried the half baked?
Yes.
No, not for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's good. It's good, but this one with Jimmy Fallon on it is so much better.
I mean, you get to see his face.
Yeah, exactly.
You chuckle
Play on
down.
words, whatever the name is. It's a play on words. I think it's the Tonight Dough.
We're gonna stick with the Tonight Dough,
Yeah.
and if we're wrong, somebody yell at us.
Yes.
Um, how many Tonight Doughs does this House of Two need to get through a week?
Okay. Usually, what happens is on the first day when we get our grocery order,
Yeah, done.
we kill it. No, we have like maybe half of it, and then we have to start rationing out. So
Mhm.
by the end of it, by the end of the week, it's like, okay, listen, 2 more scoops, and that's it. Like a scoop for you, a scoop for me.
So
Measure it out, make sure it's even.
when you're eating it, two separate bowls, or are you eating out of the pint together?
Oh, we're eating it out of the pint. Yeah.
Oh, so you're all snuggly and close on the couch.
No, not necessarily. It's just pass me the container. I'll pass it back to you, and then pass it back to me.
I don't know how you guys are still married. That
I
I
don't
would.
know.
There's no way. It's melt. Do you like it melty? Like when he hands it back, it's got to be a little bit melty.
Well, that's when like it's time for it to rest.
Oh, back into the freezer.
Back into the
That's
fridge.
enough for the night.
Yeah, when it's been out for too long.
That's amazing. What about drinks? No drinks. Just
I have wine every night.
oh,
Yeah, and sometimes Brian will too, but not it's not a nightly thing for him like me.
red, white. I don't know anything about wine.
Both.
Both. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
$10 bottle, $40
Whatever.
bottle. doesn't
I
matter.
don't discriminate.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay. Let's get into some TV. We were talking, and you told me you were watching Godfather of Harlem. Tell the people what it's about a little bit.
It is loosely based on the light of Bumpy Johnson, who back in the 50s and 60s ran Harlem, like in the crime drug world. And the show starts with Bumpy Johnson getting out of jail and finding out that Harlem has been taken over by the Italian mob. And the show is about Bumpy trying to reclaim Harlem.
Okay. Yes. And what are some of the things that you really enjoy about it?
This is a show that initially I didn't really care for. Like, I really like crime TV or crime drama. Didn't really care for this one a whole lot until like the middle of the season. So season 2 just started. So there's only been one other season, and I didn't really get into it till like the middle of season 1.
Okay.
I like it because there's kind of a mixture of a lot of different things. So it's not a drug crime show where it's just about one person dealing drugs. It's because it's kind of loosely based on a real person. There's a lot of other characters that depict real people from in that time frame. So it's like it's Bumpy Johnson, his connection to Malcolm X, and then Malcolm X has his own little storyline, how he's involved with Nation of Islam, and then how he is now associated with Muhammad Ali. So all of those
that's in season
real
2
people so that would be in season 2. Now they've introduced Muhammad Ali, a character who plays Muhammad Ali, and then their interactions. They dive a little bit into like the social movement at the time. And so there's like different layers. It's like a sprinkle of different crime shows. It's like a dash of Sopranos, a sprinkle of Power. It's like a little bit of everything in one show.
That's beautiful. The reason I find that beautiful is because after we talked, I watched 2 episodes of this show. I watched episode 1 last night. I watched episode 2 this morning. And I never wanted to watch the show again. Never again.
Okay, bye.
I was like, I don't know Amy. I thought I knew Amy. I don't know Amy. The show, everything about this show makes me want to like it. Okay, Forrest Whitaker,
Awesome in it.
Giancarlo Esposito, Vincent D'Onofrio, Paul Sorvino. There's just so many stars, and it feels so bad.
What didn't you like about it?
The score, like the music that kind of carries the story through, not like the actual songs. The score sounds like a Disney movie, right? But the pictures and the words these people are using are so violent and like over the top, almost
Yes.
cartoony. Like I released an episode this week talking about how cartoony the violence of shows from the 70s and 80s, or even based in like those times, come across. And it's like, this one just falls into that same kind of trap. But I've only watched 2 episodes, right? So I understand there's room for growth and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So to hear you really dig into it might get me to episode 5.
Okay. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should continue it.
But like, I love Forrest Whitaker, like Uncle Forrest. Like, I love him. But I mean, 2 episodes in, I'm like, what is?
You can't. You have to continue. Because I don't think I really liked it until the middle of season 1.
What kept you going? Because I love to see a show through. I'm the one who's like, I'll let people tell their story.
I think the storylines start to speed up. Multiple storylines start to speed up.
And that's the other thing too about speeding it up, is like, they're murdering people you think matter in the first episode. So I'm like,
yes,
it's already moving fast. You know what I mean?
But it's because there are so many other storylines.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely, 2 episodes in, I definitely didn't picture Muhammad Ali showing up in season 2 at all. I will say the little bits of Giancarlo Esposito that I've seen are like worth just starting the show.
Yes.
It's like,
he's so good in it. He's good in everything.
I know, but
fantastic in everything.
But like, I thought, what was his character's name on Breaking Bad? Do you remember? Gus. Yeah, Gustavo. Yeah. So I thought originally that was the character he was born to play. But this character, he's not a nice man. Right?
No.
But he feels so good in this. Like, I can't imagine anybody else doing this.
Yeah.
Although I could also imagine him playing Bumpy Johnson instead
of
Forrest Whitaker. He can
literally play every single role.
And that's not a good thing for the show, I don't think. But he's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Okay. Forget the show, okay?
Yeah, don't do it.
Forget the show. How do you feel about the theme song?
No.
Oh my God.
You are a blasphemer.
Okay, the theme song to Godfather of Harlem is probably one of my favorite theme songs of any show.
For you to form your lips to say these words as a person who watches Power.
Yes, I also love the theme song for Power.
Right.
I do. I also love the theme song for Godfather of Harlem. Why can't I love 2 things?
That can happen. That can happen for sure. Yes. But Power theme song? Godfather theme song.
Okay, no, I don't agree. It needs to be higher. I think they're equal.
They're equal?
I think they're equal.
I hear things in the show or in the theme song that I can understand why you would like. I can understand why you would like it, but I think the problem for me was you put it somewhere near Power, and it was like you don't.
I love them both equally.
You're such a sweet person.
I am.
It's not Cloak. Listen, watch the shows. If you watch the shows, comment, let us know.
Yes.
That Powers is better. But you are part of the thing with you and Godfather of Harlem, Power. You told me you watched Snowfall.
Yeah, we just finished season 4.
Right. And I still haven't started. I'll get to it. You're heavy into the crime shows.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen most of these shows too, so I guess I'm sort of heavy into them as well.
Yes.
But what is it about them that draws you to them so often?
I think it's mostly the suspense. Like, I love a good whodunit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I want to solve shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's exciting. And it's like, I mean, I'm not a criminal, so it's a kind of like a peek into what that life is like. Not that I would want to be in it, but
right.
You know, it's exciting.
You don't think this show is one of the best crime shows, right?
Godfather of Harlem?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. This is like a... Oh, and before I get into that,
yeah,
you watch the show on City TV? Do you watch?
Do I watch?
Yeah.
It? No.
Oh, you just... Okay. This show is on City TV.
Really? I'm shocked.
Yes. So I found it on demand.
Mm-hmm.
And City TV stuff keeps coming up. Oh, and this is one other thing I wanted to say to you is part of the reason I think I'm having issues with the show is this version of on demand. I can't fast forward through commercials, right? But they show very limited commercials, very limited. But the commercials they've decided to show through the first 2 episodes are Bob's Burgers and Hudson and Rex. Do you know what Hudson and Rex is?
I don't even know what that is.
Hudson and Rex is a detective and his German Shepherd. So Bumpy Johnson slits a man's throat before the commercial break, and then Hudson sends Rex over a roof to go catch a bad guy. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm having trouble separating it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think about some of the other shows that are available in the same genre. And I think that's what makes it difficult for me to get into. Cause like, I just came off of watching 000, which is like...
Loved it. Much better.
Oh my God. And then Ozark's available. Power's available.
But we've seen all those things.
Right. But when you turn this on, doesn't it feel like a step down?
No, I still find it equally as entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really different in that like 000 is fantastic. I don't even know if they were gonna have another season because they pretty ended up like it's ended.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Yeah. Have you seen American Gangster?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
Also, these are all very good things. I get it, but you know what?
I was just wondering.
Now, I'm forcing you to finish Godfather of Harlem. At first,
yes, ma'am.
I gave you a choice, and now you don't.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. But yeah, so for it to be on City TV with like the language,
that's strange,
and the violence and the nudity. See a man's ding dong in episode 1. What is, what is going on? I mean, who approved the Sun City?
But you know what I'm finding now that like there are like shows that like I don't know, we're gonna go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
I feel like shows nowadays to reveal the male genitalia
Yeah.
is almost like it's okay now. It's okay to do that now. Which other show? There's like a few shows
I love
where
that
you
you have
see the
a
male.
stockpile of men's genitalia in film just rolling in the back of your mind.
Because when you see it, it's like, oh my god, you're not supposed to see that, but you did.
Very true.
You can't unsee it. What is that show? It's and it's a good show too. And you see like full nudity for a man. It's such a good show. It's like Industry. Have you seen Industry?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's like a trade. It's kind of like Billions,
Okay.
but with interns and younger, like young, like yuppies. Like these are just young professionals just getting into the game. I think it's called Industries. Yeah.
How many
Or
seasons?
Industry.
Any stars?
Don't know their names.
No.
But there's full male nudity, like more than one time.
Oh, you're so wonderful. Yeah, that was, I mean, it's not startling. It's just like, oh, I didn't know you could do this on this platform, right? Like in this show, I was looking it up. This show comes from some company called Epix or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have it in Canada. I'm not sure. But yeah, like seeing City TV break in after a man's ding dongs on TV is like, wow, I'm shocked by this.
Yeah.
But yes, I'll push a few more episodes, see if I can get into it. We'll see where we go from there. Have you seen?
And then the song's gonna grow on you.
The song will not grow on.
It's gonna grow on you.
As soon as I can not hear the song, I will move to not hear the song. Like I might just start muting it.
Don't.
It's not
don't
good.
You dare. Don't you dare.
It's not that good. I don't like it that much.
But you like it a little bit. Okay, go on.
It started and I was like, I could see why someone would be into this. Like it's a Swiss beat song. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know what it's like? It's like when Power changed its theme song.
No.
Like that theme song everybody hated was still okay.
No, it's not like that at all.
I digress. There is another crime show I'm hoping you've seen. Have you ever watched Fargo?
I want to say yes.
This is not off to a good start. So there's a Fargo movie, then there is a Fargo television show.
Okay.
And you would remember if you've seen it, but there's a Fargo television show, and I believe there are 4 seasons now. The 4th season is starring Chris Rock. And you definitely haven't seen it because you'd remember, but that's what I'm recommending to you. Go find Fargo Chris Rock season. Like there are 3 seasons available on Netflix. It's none of those ones. I haven't watched any of those. I'm sure they're amazing just based off of how they've put together the Chris Rock season. But the Chris Rock season is like, I think it's 1800s, maybe early 1900s. And it's basically very similar to what's going on Godfather of Harlem. You've got black crime mob, and you've got Italians as well that they're going up against. And it is, I think, 8 or 10 episodes of some of the best television you'll ever see.
Is each season a different storyline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Each season's a different storyline. And I can't imagine any of the first 3 being better than the last one. Haven't seen them. I'm sure they're amazing. Billy Bob Thornton's in one of those seasons and etc. But this new season, Chris Rock, uh, what's his name? Jason Schwartzman. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
But there are several stars in it, but there are also a bunch of other people that you've probably never seen before. It's phenomenal. So whenever you're done,
AlphaGo.
whenever you're done
Yes.
with Godfather of Harlem or any of the whenever a series finishes,
Yeah.
find that one next.
Okay,
And
we'll probably start it today because
Yeah.
we do like multiple series at once.
Okay, it's amazing. I did a piece on an episode a few weeks back about a show I love called Search Party. And you are the first person I know that started watching it after hearing about it. Tell the people what you thought about it initially.
Initially, I hated it within the first 10 minutes of the show, and then I stopped watching it after 12 minutes.
12 minutes of a 22-minute episode, right?
Uh-huh.
And then what happened?
And then you insisted that I continue. So I did.
And then what happened?
And then I continued watching it because it got really good.
Uh-huh.
It got good, okay? But initially I hated it.
Yep, me too. Awful, right?
Yeah, it was so bad. It was, but for me, and I think there was one scene right from the beginning that I don't know if I think there was a joke made in the first like 1 minute of the show to indicate to viewers, I guess, that it's a comedy. It's a dark comedy. But I didn't find it funny, and that set the tone for me, and I felt like that was going to be the humor for the rest of the show.
Humor that you wouldn't a humor that you wouldn't enjoy.
Yeah, I didn't even I didn't enjoy it. I didn't understand it. It wasn't funny to me, and I thought that was like the humor for the rest of the show, and so I stopped watching it because of that one. Do you know which one
No.
So it's Dory now, like the very first scene is Dory seeing the missing poster of Chantal. And that moment's great. You can already tell in the first 10 seconds the acting ability of Aaliyah. Okay, now a woman walks by her and was like, "Hey, you stepped on shit. You're smelly." Right. Like,
don't get on the train with the shit on your shoes.
Don't get on the train with your stinky ass feet or something.
Yeah.
And it's like it ruined the moment for me because like I didn't find the humor in it.
Right.
You know, and I love comedy as well. Like it doesn't take a lot to make me laugh, but I really didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the show. So
yeah, while it's interesting because while that is what turned you off, I wouldn't say that the humor changes much as you get further along in the show, right? Like it's a very silly.
It is. It's silly. I guess I just didn't find that particular silliness funny.
Especially after they pulled you in.
Exactly.
Right. It's interesting. I hadn't gone into that piece quite as deeply as you had. Like when I talk about it, it's definitely one of those shows where I'm like, listen, I know you're busy, and this is not you, this is the royal you. It's like, I know you're busy, but like you got to give it some time. You got to give this show some time, right? And like that's the same thing that happened, and that would have been the pilot, right? Like that's the show, that's the episode they film to like get more episodes, right? Like this is what it's going to be. And that's what got me to season 2 of Godfather of Harlem. It was like, I just told Amy the other day You can't just judge the show off of the first
Yes.
episode, right? And that's why I was like, you got to give it like 3-4 episodes. Like the show was not made for us, I wouldn't say. Like it wasn't made for this show's made for people born in the 2000s,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But once you stick in with it, it's like it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It is a very like millennial-ish
Yeah.
show. I mean, we're technically
Yeah,
millennials
we're the
too.
tail end. Yeah.
But what but it is a kind of you know what it reminds me of? Have you seen, oh my gosh, and it's like a dark comedy too of a crime. The girl from Big Bang Theory is on
Kaylee Cuoco?
flight attendant.
Flight
The flight
attendant. Yeah.
attendant.
That's
It
a
reminds
dark
me of
comedy?
that. Yes. It's a dark comedy.
I haven't
And Rosie Perez is in that one too.
Maybe it's the
Yeah.
same producers or something like that.
Maybe because it is very, very similar.
Mm.
It's
Well-
I actually find Search Party to be a little bit more entertaining than The Flight Attendant, but it's very similar comedy.
Okay. I've been holding off on Flight Attendant because I thought it was more dark than anything else.
It's a dark comedy, but it's not as comedic as Search Party.
Okay. So it's pretty dark.
Equally as dark.
Okay. Are you still only like you wrapped up season 2 of Search Party, right?
No, I finished it now. I'm caught up.
Between when we talked and today, you finished it.
Yes, they're very short episodes.
And you just can't
I
put it
don't have
down.
a lot of time.
Wow, that's pretty good. But I finished it. 4 seasons are available. I believe there's a 5th coming. How good were season 3 and 4?
Season 3, so good. Season 4, so good. I just have a problem with the ending of season 4.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the ending of season 1, which I did not like. It's a buildup of things. It's like, have you ever seen a show where you are so invested in the characters, and then episode after episode there's a buildup and a buildup, and then you're anticipating all your questions to be answered at the end, and then the final episode comes on, and then it all happened to be a joke.
Gotcha.
You know, it's that kind of disappointment where you feel like there's a conclusion and then it flops. It leaves you hanging, but
not necessarily
not
flops, but yeah.
It leaves you hanging, but it's not the conclusion you would like. Like I guess maybe it's just me. Like I don't like the whole like everything happened and then at the end the person wakes up and it was all a dream. I hate those. I feel like I was disappointed in the ending of some of the seasons, but because they leave you hanging with something else that's so good, you have to continue.
And that's not exactly what has happened at the end of season 4. It's not like anybody thinks it was a dream or anything like that. That's just the example you're using.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Because I felt similar when it ended as well. When season 4 ended, I was like, can't you wrap it up a little tighter for us at the end of this season? I hear what you're saying. Like I found that a lot with, do you watch Handmaid's Tale?
Yes.
I found that with pretty much every season of Handmaid's Tale. I'm like,
and that's why I stopped watching it, because I think I stopped watching it after season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I lose interest when that happens.
You don't pay it off. At some point, pay it off. Like at some point, these ladies are gonna figure it out and just figure it out for real. And then always somebody turns around and doesn't leave, or I gotta go back and fight this dude or whatever. Like, you could just leave. Just leave.
Exactly.
Like, they're gonna rape you and all sorts of bad shit. Just leave, man. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Let me go into that barn. Well, I don't think you should. I don't think you should. The
This
car's
isn't,
running. Just
yeah.
get in it.
This
That's
isn't a 2-hour movie. Get
yes.
in the car and
Yes.
leave.
Yes. And none of those things happen on the show.
No, yeah, none of those things happen on the show either. You're very good at giving a great example and not spoiling anything. Fantastic. You mentioned to me that you watch some things on YouTube.
Mhm.
What do you watch?
Oh, it's nothing that anyone I think would be interested in.
You'd be surprised.
It's I don't watch a lot of like any like sometimes if you're searching for like a quick video, like a DIY for something, right?
Yeah.
For around the home. Most of the things that I watch on YouTube are things for around the home, either like renos, decorating. So I'm not subscribed to a lot of channels because I don't really go on YouTube like that. So I only have a few subscriptions. One of them is Not So Small.
Okay, what's that?
Is about architects who design really, really small living spaces. They're either like in containers or like just small homes, 300 square feet, 250 square feet homes, but they're beautifully done. And it's like it's across the world. So you see different places in the world with these small little living spaces that house like whole families, like mother, father, children. So not just like an individual dweller. And it's amazing how nice these spaces look and how many people can live in it.
Yeah. Not So Small, you said, right?
Not So Small.
Do you watch
or not too small?
Not too, yeah, not too. Either way, it makes sense. You'll be able to find it too. Do you watch any of those design architecture shows on Netflix?
Sometimes.
Because there are some like that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm more interested in the ones that are like quick videos. None, like I don't necessarily feel like I would watch a whole show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How quick, how small, how short are these videos?
Like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it. And that's primarily what you use YouTube for.
Yes.
Okay. Do you watch any reality TV?
So many. So many. I'm embarrassed even. Like I didn't even mention it to you because I'm embarrassed at how much reality TV I watch.
Well, let's get into it. What are the favorite? Okay, so there are genres of reality TV. I tend to stick in the competition realm. I love Big Brother. I love Survivor. The dance competition shows. That's me. There are dating reality shows. There are design and architecture and all of those things. Where do you fall in?
Definitely the relationship, dating, except for Bachelor or The Bachelorette,
You don't watch,
which I don't watch. No.
Any of the Bachelors, Bachelor,
No.
Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelor Makes a Boat, any of the Bachelor,
No.
None of the Bachelor stuff. Okay.
No.
So what are you like a 90-day fiance?
Yes.
And there are offshoots of 90-day fiance too, right?
So all of the 90-day fiance and its franchises.
How many are there?
I don't like even know. There's like maybe close to. Like there's like before they were fiancés, after they got married, and then the 90-day fiance during their 90 days. And then now they have like the 90-day fiancés that never got married because they had failed relationships. They have their own spin-off. So yeah, quite a few. So definitely 90-day fiance, Married at First Sight, both the American and the Australian version.
Okay.
The Australian version is like you watch it and you feel dirty afterwards. Like it's so gross. it is like you're 40% dumber after watching it. It is the
Wow.
worst.
Uh-huh.
But it's so good. Like
What?
if you like reality and the drama, like the Australian version is all drama that you need to take a break from it sometimes.
Mhm. Uh, what is it? What is it that draws you to it, or draws you back to it over and over and over again?
Um, most of the time it's just something light to
You
it's
don't have to
heavy,
think
but it's
about it.
exactly,
Yeah,
you don't
you
have
don't
to
have to
think
think about
about it. You don't necessarily need to be glued to the TV to understand what's happening. You can hear all of the yelling from, other other places in your house. That's all they're doing is yelling at each
There's
other.
a lot of yelling.
There's yelling. There's a
Is
lot of yelling.
is that the Aussie version?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
there's yelling and there's fighting. Like it's so awful. I don't recommend it, but at the same time, I do recommend it.
In too deep. In too deep. Just in too deep. I try very hard not to judge people for what they're watching, because like you're just trying to get away from whatever else is going on in regular life. And I hear about 90 Day Fiance so much from so many different places, and I can't, like, I never seem to be able to pull the trigger on watching any of them. It
Yeah.
almost feels like, even though I know you don't need to know what went on from the beginning, it almost feels like you do. Like, at least for me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't just jump in on one of these ridiculous 90 Day Fiance shows and
No.
not know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I hear you.
it's it's strange. I brought this show I'm gonna talk to you up with, I think Ricketts maybe. Have you ever watched Age Gap Love?
No.
You need to see Age Gap Love. You 100%. If you can tolerate if you can tolerate the 90 Day Fiance Aussie spinoff
Yeah.
and it makes you ill, Age Gap Love is for you. It's 100% for you. It's awful. It's real bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad. And
Age Gap Love.
yes,
What network is that on?
it's on Netflix. I
Mhm.
imagine maybe it was BBC or something originally.
Okay.
But like it's people in love with humongous age gaps. 70 and 20.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a ride. It's a ride. But like you just
Yeah.
can't believe what you're
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
You can't believe the things you're hearing. Um Next relationship show you watch,
Yeah.
start Age Gap Love, and then call me.
I will.
And then call me.
And then I will tell you how much I hate you and how
Yeah.
much I can't wait for the next episode.
Luckily, it's done. I think there are only 2 seasons. I think there's only like 12 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
But Age Gap Love is they made that for you. It's for you. Go get it. Okay. Conversely, there's a show called Love on the Spectrum.
Okay.
I don't know if it's still available, but it was on Netflix as well. And that is about people on the autism spectrum finding love. And
Oh.
that's exactly what it is. It is awe. It is, it's really heartwarming. I don't know I don't know that I know anybody on the spectrum, I should say, right? But it's eye-opening to see how truly vast the spectrum is. And you just watch these people navigate through what is already difficult for people that don't have anything
Yeah.
making their lives harder than
Yes.
it already is. And you
Yeah.
see these people figuring it out. And it's really I don't think it's a show that will, I'm sure there are parts, but I don't think it's a show that'll make you feel badly about watching reality TV.
Yes. And there's like a few reality shows. I like all of the cooking ones are fantastic that kind of make you feel good that way.
Yeah.
There's one and I don't remember. I wish I remember the name of it. And it's similar, and it's a group of individuals with Down syndrome, and it's just their lives. And they have like a community or like a group, like a center that they all go to, sort of to help them in their lives as well. It's like a whole community, like a network of people, but it follows just a few of the individuals. And it's such, I wish I remember the name of it.
If you remember before the episode comes out, let me know. I'll put it in
Yeah,
I'll put it
I
in the show
will.
notes.
I'll let you know, but it's such a good reality show. Yeah, that one and I think I don't think it's on air anymore.
Okay.
I could be wrong though.
Well, we'll try to get that out to the people.
Yeah.
But it's mostly reality TV wise. It's mostly relationship shows, we'll call them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No competitions, no nothing.
No, I think like during the beginning of the pandemic, Brian and I think we went back to all of like the Hell's Kitchen.
Wait, you watched all of Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah, I think we started it from like actually, no, I shouldn't say that.
Because
we went really far back. There's like
18 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I missed like the first 5. And
I want to say we even watched like the first few.
How terrible are those?
Ooh, bad.
They gotta be.
They're very bad and pixelated. It's not a good viewing experience, but also like the production was bad as well.
Yeah. And I imagine Mr. Ramsey is probably, there's no way he's nicer.
No.
He's got to be pretty almost vile.
Yeah.
Because are you still have you watched the most current season?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That seemed like a loaded yes.
Yes, but I think once you start binging all of the seasons, you get all of like the contestants and which season they were on. It's like all jumbled up, where the last season now seems like, the first season.
Sure. Fair. The reason I was bringing it up is he yells and curses people out to like a much lower degree now than he must. Like, I mean, I'm sure I started in season 6 or 7 or something like that, but it's not because all of the chefs are better. It's just like,
you know what I think it is?
What?
I think it's his child, because didn't he like have a child in the midst of it?
He has like 4.
I feel like something must have triggered him to like become nicer or less vile.
I'm sure there's something. Like, I'm hoping maybe it's like his wife or children instead of like business.
Yes.
Like a production company saying, hey, society's not going to let you yell at people like this anymore. I'm hoping it's like someone more compassionate being like, hey, Dad, you're a billionaire, basically. Like, stop yelling at these people like this for entertainment. Because it's just a little bit unnecessary. But I get it. What is your favorite thing? Or maybe there isn't a favorite, maybe there's a few, but what do you watch with your husband? What do you watch with Brian? Everything? Some things?
Mostly everything. Search Party was one that I watched on my own.
Yeah. He's watching 90 Day Fiance with you and everything.
He's watching. Yeah, he's there. Yes. He's watching it. We're not always paying attention when it's on.
Yeah, sure.
But he is there when we're watching it.
Okay.
And he likes it too. I mean, the thing with reality TV is that it's mainly scripted, and it's like it's all of just a production and the story that the production wants to tell the viewers.
Yeah.
So yeah, we basically watch everything together, including all of the reality TV. The only thing like that we wouldn't really watch together is um if I have the TV on and I'm watching something while he's working, because we have different, now that we're both working from home, we have like breaks at different times.
Mhm.
So
And I guess all of that stuff includes rewatching series like The Office, Fresh Prince,
mhm.
and Who's the Boss?
Okay, we don't always sit down to watch those. Like when we don't have anything else, like if we're doing stuff and we just want noise, we'll put on, like we started putting on like The Office, and then we went through like all of those seasons, and then we put on Fresh Prince, went through all of those seasons, and then we just try to start to watch Who's the Boss
Yeah.
and Everybody Loves Raymond.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, like
Uh,
it's easier to put like a sitcom or something funny because you don't have to be sitting down and actually watching it.
yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you miss the ending of season
Exactly.
3, episode 39, because it's really, unless one of the character dies suddenly,
Yeah.
it's not going to matter that much. What is it about those shows or those types of shows that allow you to rewatch them over and over again? Like, there's so many older shows that you could just throw on. What do you think
Yeah.
draws you back to those ones? Like The
Um,
Office. The Office feels pretty predictable. Like, it's hilarious
yeah.
from back to front. It's hilarious.
I mean, they're all hilarious. Like, I think those particular shows, because I feel like the comedy in it is timeless.
Yeah.
I'm watching Fresh Prince, Everybody Loves Raymond, and I would say I'm laughing more now than I first did when I watched it 15, 20 years ago. You
Mhm.
understand the scenarios more now, watching
Mhm.
it as an adult.
Mhm.
It was hilarious the first time, but now watching it again, you pick up on certain things, or there's certain episodes that is even more funny because you can relate to it now,
Yeah.
as opposed to watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I find it with both the sitcoms. Why we're rewatching it is because it's hilarious. I can watch, like, especially with Fresh Prince, there are episodes that I've seen maybe 10 times now,
Mhm.
and I will still watch it and it still cracks me up.
Do you know the lines now?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's no shade. That's what happens. And I agree with you. Like, I'd never quite thought of it that way, that they are timeless. Like, Fresh Prince was out what, early 90s?
Yes.
And nothing about it feels dated when you watch it
No.
again, even though it's so obviously dated to the eyes. But the scripts, the jokes, the topics, some of the topics I wish weren't so relevant
Yeah.
and current. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a great point. That they just wrote great shows that are timeless.
Yeah. You appreciate it as adults, as well, when, if we use Fresh Prince as an example, you don't even get how good the acting is. You watch it when you're a kid and it's funny. It's just funny. It makes you
Yeah.
laugh. But when you watch it as adults, you see the acting, and
Yeah.
they're really good actors. Ray Romano is fantastic.
Yeah.
But when I watched Everybody Loves Raymond when I was younger, you don't pick up on it. You don't think about that, but you do when you're older.
Mhm. I might have to watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes.
Like, for real, watch it. Do you find that anything going on outside of your house might impact what you're watching? Like, did you find at any time during the pandemic that you didn't want any crime shows? Too heavy. I want 12 episodes of Who's the Boss today. Like, did you did, did you find that
um,
anything kind of shapes what you watch and when you watch it?
yes, and it's the news because if we weren't home and the pandemic didn't happen, I would have the news on all the time. I wouldn't even think to put on Fresh Prince or whatever, but the news really, like, I think that had more of a negative impact on my mental health.
Mhm.
And so I sought out different episodes of comedy to fill in. So I don't have just the news on TV.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think it was before our last election. I realized that I wasn't watching any Canadian news.
Mhm.
I'd drop in on like some American news from time to time, and then I started downloading Canadian news podcasts, and I started PVRing some like news programs. And I think it was like June or July of 2020 where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So you don't really watch the news anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'll turn it on for weather, um, like any of the breaking news.
Yeah.
It'll be on for maybe 10 minutes and then that's it.
Much healthier.
Much healthier.
It's a great healthy decision.
Yes.
Great healthy decision. So give the people 2 or 3 or 4 or me recommendations that you think we should be watching.
They're all documentaries,
Oh yes. Okay.
which I love.
Yep.
Um, it's a little bit of a harder sell, these
Why?
documentaries.
The ones you've picked
Yes,
specifically? Oh, okay.
yes. I feel like they're ones that it's easy to skip over it,
Okay.
understandably. The first one is My Octopus Teacher.
Heard about it. Didn't
It's
that win
so
an
good.
Oscar? I think that won some big awards.
I hope it did. I know it was nominated for a lot of awards. I really hope it did win an award.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about a photographer, um, filmmaker
Mhm.
who, uh, in the lull of his life where he felt like he was in a rut with his career, decided one day to just take a swim in the ocean. And he runs into an octopus and he decides for every single day he's gonna film this octopus for a few minutes. And it doesn't sound intriguing, one, because it's an octopus, and two, it for me, I didn't initially click on it to watch it, um, because it sounded very National Geographic, Discovery Channel. Like that's what it sounded like. Like I don't want to learn about the life cycle of an octopus. Like I don't want to.
For an hour and a half.
I'm not looking for a lecture.
Yeah. On
But this
octopi.
was done so beautifully. It's a story that it's like a it's like a friendship.
Mhm.
You learn some really cool things and you see some really cool things because it is footage of that he took visiting this octopus every single day. He did it for about almost a year. Um, it's so I can't even describe it in a way to make people watch it, but it's not what you think, not what the title seems,
Mhm.
and not what you would think in
Mhm.
like a nature film. I wouldn't even classify it as a nature film.
Yeah. I have 2 questions.
Mhm.
I've heard about it before, and it sounds, when you hear things sound good, but you can't get yourself to watch them? Like you're
Mhm.
like legitimately, that sounds like a good thing. And I just won't watch. That's one of them. Like I heard about that documentary probably a couple of years ago. But I'll probably watch it now because you told me to watch it. So question number 1, how does he know it's the same octopus?
There was a point where he actually lost it And he had to basically teach himself how to track a particular species of octopus.
Wow. See, I'm already deeper in. I'm already closer.
Yes, and you wouldn't even think you hear about animal tracks when you're
Yeah.
tracking an
They
animal.
tag it or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
by the footprints and the trails of different things that they eat, across the forest. But when you're talking about like a forest under the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
there are more species under the water than
Yeah.
on Earth
And
and
we know about.
on land, exactly. And
Yeah.
so he spent a week basically just teaching himself how to track a sea creature, basically.
Mm-hmm. Question number 2. How many boxes of Kleenex did you go through?
Not a lot.
Just half box.
It is a show that you wouldn't think would move you, but it is moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I would be moved because it's an octopus, and I don't have any real feelings towards octopi.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is moving.
Yeah.
It is so moving where there are parts where you wish the filmmaker would have done something to help the octopus, or but you never want to interfere in like in nature.
Mm-hmm.
In any kind of scenario, whether you're a filmmaker or a photographer, but you do get moved by this one creature.
Mm-hmm. I heard it's beautiful.
It's very beautifully done.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it. What's next?
AlphaGo.
AlphaGo?
Yes.
Like
it's
alpha,
another
like
documentary.
alpha, beta.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
AlphaGo.
go as in go.
Leave. Yeah.
Go leave. It's called AlphaGo. Sorry. And it's about AI. And it's the game of Go is almost like a chessboard. It's a board game. It's the oldest board game in history. And the idea of the game is very simple, but there's a lot of strategy and a lot of moves that you can make. So it's like chess, but 200 billion times the different moves, like in terms of moves. Possibilities. Yeah. So because of that, it's hard to teach a computer how to play the game. And one of the measures of success for AI and technology is for programmers to try to get a computer to know how to play this game and win. That's like the mark of a successful scientist when it comes to AI. So they use the game of Go as their marker. How smart can we make this computer? The possibilities of the different moves and the possibilities, there are more possibilities on a board game of Go than there are atoms in the universe.
Jeez.
So it's the way that the programmers and scientists were describing it is that it's almost impossible. And that's what they were trying to do. They developed a program that they thought was at a good stage for the AI to compete with the world champion at Go. And so the documentary is about some of that technology, why it's challenging, how complex the game is, and then have the AI go into a tournament with the world champion, and they do 5 rounds. And it is so exciting when you watch it. It's so exciting because I don't play chess.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I'm so drawn to the game itself, how it's played, and you don't care for really, like, you don't care for, like, I didn't care for the game. I didn't care for the world champion, but at the same time, you can't help but really want him to win
Mm-hmm.
because he represents the human race. And so it's very it draws emotions that you wouldn't think you would feel watching this documentary about AI.
So, current. Well, I shouldn't say currently, but the humans are better at playing that game than people can get a computer to be able to play that game.
Yeah. So prior to the documentary, or up until the point of the documentary, no machine was able to play the game because there are so many moves. The programmers basically had to teach a computer how to anticipate a move and what move then to make to win.
Mm-hmm.
And because there are so many variations,
There's too
com-
many.
the computer wasn't understanding what it needed to do,
Mm-hmm.
or it kind of knew, but it still couldn't do it. So, yeah.
Have you watched Queen's Gambit?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
It just seems in line with
Yes.
with this documentary. Um, AlphaGo.
AlphaGo.
That sounds amazing. Um, do you have any others?
This is a robbery is
Yes.
one that is recent,
Yep.
and I recently saw this one about it's an art heist, and what's really interesting about the show is when you think about robbery, you're robbing for things to sell or money because you want it. But when you think about fine art, it's like, where do you think you're going to sell this
Yeah. Once you've got it,
gigantic
who do you?
who are you selling the Mona Lisa to? You know?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because I didn't know what all of the like art heights, like what do you do with all of the artifacts and the paintings, and it ties in it there's a correlation with organized crime, which I had no idea about.
Mhm.
So that was a really interesting
That's a
watch.
documentary series, right?
Yes,
Multiple
I think
episodes.
there's 4 episodes,
Okay.
and the first episode I think just takes you. It's just like the crime itself,
Mhm.
which is really interesting as well. It's basically two guys dressed up as cops in disguise goes into a museum, robs the place, and then they show you like the layout of the actual museum and the pieces that are missing and the route that the robbers went. That like the investigation part of it, I love.
That's got to be fascinating. That
Yes,
documentary.
yes.
I just watched. I watched The Blacklist. I don't know if you're into The Blacklist, but I watched The Blacklist, and they just did an episode where they had to steal some like Russian artifact from a museum, and and the show's really. I like the show. I get a feeling it's not like a really popular show, but I believe most of the heists and crimes and things they pull off in the show are done really well, right? And hearing that this is a robbery is out and available, and given how they pulled off the heist in The Blacklist, it's like that's got to be such a silly, dumb version of what those geniuses must have pulled off in This Is a Robbery that I'm almost afraid to watch it. Because this show that I really like did something similar, and it's
Yeah.
like it's going to be trash compared to how good
You know
this
what? You would be
is.
surprised.
Is it? They're like
Yeah.
they hit a guy on the head with a bat and they picked up
You know what? That didn't happen, but it might as well have. Like it's actually not stupid.
That's amazing, because you have to imagine if you're gonna rob a piece, like let's say it's the Mona Lisa. I don't know what the artist
Hmm.
that they take, right? But you have to imagine if you get within like 5 feet, alarms.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
in the daytime,
Yeah.
alarms. Nighttime, the whole room, alarms. You touch the painting, a net falls out of the roof, and,
You looked
you're
at it.
captured. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're captured, right? You start walking, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
oil spills shoot out of
Yeah.
the walls, and you can't walk it. You know what I mean? It's like it's got to be damn near impossible, but
Yeah.
clearly they did it.
You would think so. Now this also took place. So this is a museum in Boston that was robbed, and this was back in the 90s. So I mean, maybe the technology wasn't as, you know, I think we're like expecting Home Alone booby traps or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
doesn't happen.
No.
And so the technology may be lacking a little bit, but I get it. Yeah, because even in the 90s, you would think that art that's basically priceless would be more protected.
Yeah, but even if it was, not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay, I mean, those are. Do you have more recommendations, or is it just those three?
To actually recommend, yeah, those three. Like
Yeah.
I watch a lot of documentaries, but the ones that really stick out to me and are memorable, those are it.
They sound great. I think I'm going to watch all of them.
I hope you watch all of them.
Slight sidebar. Did you watch the last Blockbuster?
I did.
That's right up there with these ones, right?
I did. It was entertaining.
Was it?
It was fun. It was who doesn't like to look at a Blockbuster? That's a throwback.
It is. That's true. There was some nostalgia.
It's nostalgia. I didn't really care for like what the Blockbuster employees did on their breaks, and like I don't know how that was. I needed to know that.
They paid them for an hour and a half of documentary footage. So we got to show you an hour and a half of stuff. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, do you have a favorite documentary, or is that one of the three on the list?
The three that I recommend are definitely like up there.
Not
They're
a
dark.
recommendation, just what you like. Because people might have listened to you for this hour and a bit and be like, I want to watch everything she watches.
A lot of like the ones that are memorable to me are crime or dark. Like there's one called Mummy, Dead and Dearest.
Oh, I've watched that.
Yeah.
I believe I've watched that.
And there's a movie on it too.
That's the one where the girl has no ailments, but her mom,
twisted. Just bizarre, twisted.
Mommy, Dead and Dearest. I mean, listen, every time I talk to you, as soon as we start talking, we just start giggling. Okay?
Yes.
When I see you in person, it's just giggling. It's just laughing. It's just having a good time, just like you are right now. And then I ask you about your TV watching preferences. And you're like, I want dead people. I want them to solve these crimes. But death, crime, death, murder. More dead people. And I'm like, what? How do these things mesh together?
Yeah,
because I would expect you to stay away from it.
I think maybe one results in the other. You know, like so much comedy, and then like I need something dark to like bring me down.
Balance.
And then I'm so down, I need comedy to lift me up.
You're in this vicious cycle.
Yeah, emotional roller coaster.
Wow. It's very interesting. I mean, clearly you're not by yourself, right? Like these things are all so popular for so they can't stop making them. But I mean, I watch some of this stuff, right? But it's so much darkness. What do you, when you're watching these things,
Mhm.
it ends, credits roll. What do you do next?
Breathe.
Yeah, because you stop breathing for a good
Yes.
hour. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
understandable.
And then I go back to watching like comedy.
You're right. Okay. So, do you have go-to comedy things that you turn on after you watch 17 people get murdered in a documentary? Like, what is it? Because I have things like that for me too, where I'm like, that was a lot. On goes Big
I
Mouth.
Yeah, I find once the show ends, especially if it's dark, once the show ends, it's right back to Fresh Prince and Everybody Loves Raymond. Like it's back to sitcoms. It's
Regardless
back
of
to
the time,
reruns.
regardless of the time of day.
Regardless, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So, the really dark stuff, and then you're like, I want to watch Will Smith and Jazz
Mhm.
dap it up and then play basketball.
Jeffrey.
And
Yeah.
Jeffrey doing Jeffrey. Okay. Okay. I get you. Cause man, like that was my vibe for 000 was like, there were a few episodes where I'm like, I'm going to take a day off of watching this. I'm going to like watch an episode of Big Mouth afterwards or like just anything else to get my mind off of it. But
There was a lot of death. Yeah, a lot of blood in 000.
yeah, a lot. I mean, and some of the themes and some of the things the characters are going through, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fresh Prince, Who's the Boss, The Office. After you watch
All the murders.
all the murders, yeah. Okay, thank you so much for being on the show. Take care, lady.
You too.
Thanks again for tuning into It's in the Details. Please remember to share, like, subscribe, rate, review, comment, help grow the show. Take care now. Peace.